Hello there everyone, welcome back to All of Fabric 6. So we are just, ooh, sparkly. So we are just here in the end again, because we are on our way. Oh, into this one. Because we are looking for, I forget where it was, but there were these like floating, there it is, that way. There's these like floating towers here that have a boss fight in them as part of the boss's mass destruction. So let's start off today's episode with a bit of a challenge. There it is. And then we're going to head home and get stuck into trying to massively accelerate our crops. But I thought it'd be fun to start off today's episode with a bit of a biff. Obsidian altar. I think we're going to be okay. What with our shiny spectrum armor and all. I'm starting to think that the boss rush might actually be the easiest part of the completionist quests. I'm really looking forward to this fight because I hear this thing drops something really good that we've been trying to get our hands on. I think I could figure out how to activate the thing. Maybe you gotta feed it a soul star. No, that's not it. Oh, it's probably just like the last place. Do we try and break it? No, that's indestructible. Look at these colors. Maybe we're meant to toss an ender pearl in there. Not an ender pearl. I mean, I'll take your obsidian. This looks like a fairly solid structure. I don't think it's containing anything inside it. Is it? I'm so lost here. I've noticed that there is this thing called a brimstone nectar, which we can afford. And maybe we need to like apply that here. Shoom. Activate. There we go. Okay, I had a look at the wiki. Oh, let's quickly eat this guy. What's this little guy doing? I don't think I was far off with that ender pearl. Whoa. Is this it? What's this guy doing? Okay, gotta take care of these, I imagine. I think we're going okay. Okay, then there's these like, what are these called? Obsidian runes that seem to be like providing it with a force field. Hopefully not also healing it. I guess it's kind of, I guess that's a little bit intuitive. Yeah, easy peasy, you got nothing on me. Oh, so close. More like bosses of some mild inconvenience. I mean, I shouldn't disparage. I mean, I am aware that we're pretty overpowered. Who's doing that teleporting? We got really late game bedrock armor and sword, so it's not the mod's fault. You're mine, there we go. We weren't far off thinking that it was an ender pearl, but unfortunately, yeah, I had to check the Discord. Damn, not this one. Alright, how about this thing? What I used just then was this thing called the brimstone nectar, which is pretty cheap to make. It just resets nearby boss structures. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be too many tools here that we can make with the obsidian heart that we really want other than the staff of suppression. But there is something in this guy's loot table that I really, really want. Come on. Maybe what we can do is chuck this guy in there. Yes, the Obsidilith does indeed have souls that you can harvest. But it's a question whether or not it actually drops the goodies for you. It doesn't. That's a shame. So yeah, you can run it through the soul revitalizer as many times as you want, but it's not the death of the Obsidilith that... This guy. It's not the death of the Obsidilith that drops the loot. It's the loot chest that it spawns in. That's a shame. Leave me alone. Alright, well, if it wasn't already clear, what I was after was the real Tempad. This one, which comes from End City Treasures. And I don't know how you see what the Obsidilith drops, but apparently it drops End City Treasures. I'm not sure how many of those things we killed, but like 20 or something at least. Well, there we go, 27. I killed 27 of those things and didn't get what I was after. Scarf of Invisibility. Sure, there's some kind of trinkets and stuff, which is fun. But I basically have everything that I need trinket-wise. So that's a bummer. Maybe if I could really be bothered, I'll head back out there and go a few more rounds myself. But yeah, probably not. We've survived this long without a temp pad. Oh, actually, the difference between that temp pad and the one we have is this one has a cooldown and this one doesn't. Okay? Not much difference. I am really stinky right now. I need some fruits. I think maybe I need to get my fruit up, maybe my grain as well, to get rid of that stink. Okay, so like we were saying earlier, the tools you can get from this thing look pretty cool. Earth Dive Spear grants short range teleport through solid blocks. Yeah, that could be pretty dope. But we can get, finally, this thing that I've kind of been waiting for such a long time, is the Staff of Suppression, and I feel like I should be getting some kind of freaking achievement for that. Oh, that's a nice touch. It lights up for you. And what this thing does is when you place it down, mobs won't spawn in any 64 block direction. So that's like right here, for instance, where the mouse is 4,300. So that would be going 64 blocks this way to like there. And then around that, that would be like no mob spawning in any of this area here, which, yeah, you know, it's not a huge radius. God, what a gorgeous block though. Somebody should have these set up as street lights around the base. Although then my stink particles will be visible for everyone to see. So you might think like, hey, doesn't the big torch already stop mob spawns in a far bigger area? And you'd be right. It's also much easier to get your hands on. I'm not sure where our big torch currently resides. Oh, over here? Yeah, here we are. Yeah, so this thing here, you fill it up with torches and it's stopping spawns in an 8 chunk radius. But the difference is the big torch only stops hostile mobs, whereas this thing will stop anything from spawning. Can probably just let some levels drain while we do a quick recap. So last episode, we set up a whole bunch of rich farmland from Farmer's Delight to speed up the crops a little bit. Well, come closer. Come a little bit closer. Well, okay, it's a bit too close. Please, I need some personal space. Well, we can make things go even faster with mystical agriculture growth accelerators. So let's have a quick foray into mystical agriculture and really try and ramp up the acceleration of these crops. And then my backpack doing? I think that's my butt muscles activating that. And then we'll head down to the kitchen and start setting up a few more workstations. Okay, so that stuff's growing up. What we're after is this stuff here called growth accelerators, and there are a bunch of different tiers of them. Basically what they do is they apply random growth ticks to the first plant placed above them within a specified range. So this first tier of growth accelerator, the Inferium one, has a range of 12 blocks. And you can click a little link here. The website's there, so although you can't see it. Growth accelerators of all tiers provide the same rate of growth ticks. Higher tiers, however, have a larger range. It doesn't matter which tier you use, so long as the growth accelerator is placed within its max range. So we can go 12 blocks with this first tier, and then the next 12 blocks can be Prudentium. The next 12 blocks can be Tertium, and then Imperium and Supremium, all the way down to 60 blocks below where we are. And for this, we need to get some recipes set up. Okay, we haven't got any prosperity shards at the moment. What we do have is our MI factory. Mystical. Our MI factory has been like collecting heaps and heaps of this stuff. I think we got this growth accelerator as a reward. But yeah, somehow we've already got almost 7,000 of Inferium ore and prosperity ore that has been accumulating over in our MI factory because these things are drops from the steel drill now. Okay, you can get some kind of incubator set up. Maybe that's what we'll eventually do. But for now, yeah, there's been something that I've wanted to try, which is getting an annihilation plane set up with fortune on it. As you can see, I've got one here. We also now have a Fortune 4 book that we got from using a gilded book here in our Bedrock Hoe. That would be right here. So, okay, let's head on over to our little MI factory. Oh, another 32 channels up here. I haven't set this up in creative or anything, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment. So we want to do two things. We want to first form it, the formation plane. Right? Why won't you place those? Right, I got an idea here. What if we move this dank up to the top here? We'll just replace it for now with nether quartz. And that's the dank where our ore is currently residing. We set an import bus on that with a filter of these 3 ores, i.e. the mystical agricultural ores. So that's going to try and import into whatever system we set up here. And if we take this formation plane back, that can then form it here. We'll have to give it a little bit of power as well. There we go. Yeah, totally. It just needed some power, so I've got a quartz fiber and then the glass. Then we can annihilation plane it from this side. And that'll just start getting stored in our network, right? Mystical. Yeah, there we go. So it's getting imported from our ore dank. Breaking them with a fortune 4. I didn't realize it'd be that fast. And then that's just going straight into our network here. And then what I think I'd like to see is these 3 things being stored like so. Lock. Being stored like that. And we'll give them high priority and then 1,000. And then like all of our Inferium essence, for instance, should go straight into that barrel. Let's see. Same with the solium dust. 10, yep. And the same should happen for these. Let's go. Actually, you know what? Already I can see this becoming a bit of a problem because once these barrels here fill up, which they might, it's already on 7,000, where, where's this stuff going to go? It's just going to clog up our regular ME stuff. So instead, what I think we're going to do is a much more neat and tidy kind of setup where we'll place it here, harvest it here, and then feed it down the back here into these barrels. Like this. Then we just have to give this little sub-network here a little bit of power. To give that power, we can probably just... Okay, I hope that makes sense. So because this little bit on top here doesn't interact with our main ME system at any point, it's just a little sub-network. Because that quartz fiber there is cutting it off from our main ME system. All it's doing is importing here with a import bus, get in, broken, picked up by the fortune, and placed into the only storage that it has, which is these 3 here. I'm actually concerned that what will happen once like this Inferium thing here fills up is this formation plane is going to keep on placing more Inferium ore, but the annihilation plane just won't break it. And that's definitely not what we want either. So we can have 2 more annihilation planes there, all with fortune. We can set filters on these things like you only break prosperity. You only break Inferium, and you only break the sodium. Looks like we do need to worry about channel management. In that case, let's get rid of this top one. I don't think we're going to be needing too much of the solium ore. I mean, it's loud, but it's nice. All right, let's go check out how our farmland's going. You know what? Let's test this out. Inferium farmland. Can we plant other seeds there? Yes. Even though it says that the farmland increases the output efficiency of mystical agricultural crops, it seems that you can also plant just regular crops on there. Okay, but it is talking about them dropping essence seeds and Inferium seeds. It doesn't talk about it having like a bone meal effect. So I think we'll stick with the rich farmland in that case. Anyway, what we can do now is speed up these crops by planting the accelerator stuff below it. These ones. So we've got this now. We do need to set a recipe for Inferium gemstones, which requires prosperity gemstones. Okay, that looks easy. That would just be like this. Inferium gemstone. Oh, I guess we also probably want a recipe for this. As soon as you can plant these up to 12 blocks below, let's start off with 12 instantaneous. And let's plant it below our good friend here, the wheat crop. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, this one now has 12 below it. Okay, so while not crazy speed, considerably faster. Like this one still hasn't grown a single tick. And this one's basically done. Okay, we're going to need heaps for this then. Sure, let's make 1,000 of them. And get below here and start tick accelerating this whole area. Because remember, the first 12 layers below can be this stuff. And then the next 12 layers after that will be the next tier. And then the next 12 layers after that will be the next tier, because remember the book says it makes no difference. They're all the same speed. It's just the higher tier ones can go further down. So there's no benefit of having the top tier one up here. You want the top tier one down low and the low tier ones up here. I hope that makes sense. And then if we fly up high, all these things should be massively tick accelerated. Well, maybe not massive, but yeah, noticeably so. Okay, that's everything boosted to the max. Oh. These two blocks here are just because we got the rice up there planted one further down, and this one's also one further down because it's where the sugarcane's situated. No, I don't want you in there actually. But as you can probably tell, that cost us a whole bunch of these Inferium growth accelerators. We only have 30 left. All right, that's 30 out of 3,000 that I crafted. Okay, so I've been playing around with some tools in Spectrum, including this thing here called the Compact in Chest. And what it does is kind of like, well, you could probably just read the label, right? You put things into it and it'll compact in either a tiny thing that's making them smaller, a 2x2, but if you have it set to 3x3, effectively what that is it tries to feel like a 3x3 grid here, and it'll give you the result. So put some redstone in there. But yeah, it compresses it over and over again. Well, guess what? That also works with Inferium Essence. And the real benefit of that is, like, to upgrade, to get the higher tier essences in Mystical Agriculture, you can do it with the kind of shiny, sparkly essences. 4 will give you 1, but 4 blocks will also give you block of the higher tier. And seeing as 1 block is 9 of the essences, that's 9 times as efficient. So my thinking is, this is what happens when you don't plan things in creative. Let's add yet another tweak. If we were to get a compact in chest in the processing line between the Inferium ore and the barrel down there, basically just converting everything in the barrel into block form. But I just noticed the crystals here, the regular infusion crystals, they don't seem to have a recipe to convert the blocks into their higher tier. Only the Master Fusion Crystal seems to have that recipe. So we're also going to want to get one of those as soon as we can. I may be a genius here. I don't think there's any reason why these things have to talk to these things, right? So couldn't we just separate them out and power them both? Yeah, we can totally do that. Absolutely, but we have 2 spare channels here. We could say export bus into here, export this with a bit of gusto, please. And then what we're going to need to do is put Inferium Essence. We want to change the recipe on that to this, Inferium Blocks. Get that set up with the storage bus again. So now that's storing Inferium Blocks instead of the Essence. And then we're going to put an import bus on the bottom of this. It doesn't know what to do with Inferium Essence, but it knows what to do with the Inferium Blocks. It's very slow. Let's speed that up. Let's see how fast it is. Instantaneous. And then we want to put Inferium Essence into it with a storage bus like this. Get in there. Cool. Now we've got 4,500 of the blocks, which is fantastic. Fantastic and noisy. Very cool. Those numbers just keep on going up and up. So now we're going to want to look at crafting one of these things, which takes a premium essence, prosperity ore, premium gemstone, and the essence is 4 of the blue, blah, 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 4 of the orange. Okay, so basically we just need to set up recipes for these things. Might have been smarter to do this before I converted all my Inferium essence into the block form. Let's see, this thing is cheap. And that got me 2. Okay, we need, how many of them do we need? We need 8 of them, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just 6 of them. I think we can manage that, so 8. Okay, then we can make one of these Supremium gemstones. And then the Master Infusion Crystal. Okay, so this guy here, thank you, it's an achievement. This guy here will mean that we can now do all this conversion stuff from the lower tiers into the higher tiers automatically with block form. So we want to say U equals U. And you make the top tier one. We'll set them as crafting recipes. Give AE2 the crystal because we don't want to do the crafts. We want it to do it for us. We're also going to need to teach it the crystals and then the accelerators. And then we'll see if I can't just like order 3,000 of each of the crystals and speed this thing up even more. All right, bear with me while I do that. 5, okay. So not sure if we have done this in a overly convoluted way, but we can make the Inferium essence just from downgrading an inferior block. Same with all the essences. So if we wanted like, I don't know, 4 Supremium essence, it would first craft all the blocks until we got 1 Supremium block and then it would downgrade it. And I'm hoping that because we're saving on, I couldn't bother doing the math, but I'm hoping that because we're saving on crafts by working with the kind of like 3x3 type of blocks, I'm hoping it'll be less crafts. We'll see. So now let's say, put an order in for, we've already got 1, so let's just get a clean 1,000. All that stuff looks very doable. Oh, that is going to cost us 900 of the blocks. Okay, what that tells me is that we're not going to get enough to do all the growth accelerators today. We'll only have enough really to do this tier, and if we're lucky, the tertium tier as well. All right, 999 please. All right, this I got to see. So first it's crafting the big guys, then it's converting them into the essences. And then it's stalling because we obviously got the recipe wrong. What? But it doesn't seem to know how to make the gemstones. Maybe because it was set as a processing pattern? Yeah, I think it's set as a processing pattern. That's a little odd, because that's just a crafting pattern. Growth accelerators. Okay, now we should be able to do it, right? There it goes. All right, keep it up. Good work. Well, now we have an even bigger hole underneath our farm, but clearly we're not going to have enough of the Inferium essence to make growth accelerators to cover this whole area. So instead, let's just cover the area for now to start off with where we have our crops. So there's like 32 blocks here. Yeah, I discovered something. Well, I didn't discover it. People in the comments and on Discord discovered it. The problem we were having last time with rice not coming in from the Croptopia variant, this guy, is because this stuff is actually classified as a seed. I guess it is a seed because you plant it underwater like that. Either way, so our filter that we had set up earlier was getting rid of all of our seeds, which is why these Croptopia rice crops weren't growing properly last episode. But I've done a bunch of tests and it's definitely coming in properly now. But anyway, we got 32 crops here. And we want to put 12 of each of these 4 accelerators underneath each one. So that's like 380 in total. So we built probably too much of the Prudentium stuff. But he's hoping we have enough of our... Oh, that would cost 1,400. No, we're definitely not going to have enough Inferium ore. You see here we're missing 17,000 or 17,500 of it to craft up enough of the growth accelerators, even to cover this little patch behind us here. So, all right, so it looks like if you have enough patience, you can just play the waiting game and eventually you'll have enough of the Inferium essence to do anything you want, you know, but that'll take quite a while. If you got IR set up or Industrial Revolution, you can get like the ore, just get your hands on like a stack of that stuff, and then you can put that through the mining rig to dupe heaps and heaps and heaps of it, which I'm tempted to do, although you'll see we haven't even started Industrial Revolution at all. Not even collecting the book. But there's another option which seems to be, get rid of that, which seems to be using this thing called the Mystical Incubator from Modern Industrialization. Oh. Hello? Are you the star I've been looking for? No. And what it does is it takes mystical fertilizer plus a seed. It doesn't consume the seed. And it'll spit out the essence, like this. Is that also for the higher tiers? Oh, sadly, it only has a recipe for the lower tiers. But that's okay. So it doesn't consume a seed, has a 10% chance to consume some mystical fertilizer, water which is free, and you'll get 2 essences out of that, plus perhaps another seed. So how about we head on over to the basement where we've set up these other MI multi-blocks. We'll find somewhere around here to set up this thing. 5 of them, and the last thing we need is the infusion pedestal. We want 4 of them. 2, 3, 4. That's going to look something like this. Pretty big. Damn, that's pretty big. Right, so this might seem counterproductive, but I'm actually going to tear out this wall because like this guy here, all it's doing is giving us flux crystals. Well, we can very quickly go set up a recipe over at MI to do flux crystals with an electronic mixer. So this whole thing seems a bit redundant, you know? If I turn that off, we could also just do ourselves a favor and just get 1,000 of them cooking up at least, so we'll have a bit of reserves while we're waiting. A bit crowded, but it's an idea. I'm not sure what kind of grass that is. I wonder if it's the same as this kind of grass, which was like transformation grass or something. That's called vivid grass. That needs vivid seeds. Let's see, I might just dig that out. Cover it up. Do we have shape valid? We do. We're also going to need to give it electricity, fluid input, item input, and item output. Okay, that should be pretty easy. Just get in one of these Inferium seeds, probably an achievement. There we go. And we need to also give it this stuff called the Mystical Fertilizer, which is just a crafting recipe. Okay, this stuff here, this has no recipe. It's a chance drop from mystical agricultural crops, I imagine. So we'll have to use bone meal, which we're good on. We've got no shortage of bone meal. Got 173,000 of this stuff. That's what we're using in our recipe. Diamonds are also no shortage. We've got to teach that to our ME system, perhaps right there, and then have this guy keep some in stock with a crafting card. Right, but obviously there is no auto eject, so we can go at the item output hatch instead. We'll just have to pipe it in. And this should start working. Amazing. Let's just auto compact that instead. And then push it back into the interface. Like that. It's not a bad little setup. All right, and the idea is that, you know, this will tick over for such a long time. As it gets more and more efficient, this progress bar here will go faster and faster. And I'm hoping, like right now, it's twice as fast. So I guess that means by the time it's full, it'll be probably 5 times as fast. Not huge, not game breaking, but at least some nice passive automation. But at least we can do the, at least we can just do one crop. Okay, so that is going to be powering our favorite little wheat crop. How's that working? It should be this one right here. Is it fast enough to grow in a single rotation of the windmill? Possibly? Yeah. You can do it. Quickly, you haven't got much time. It's just around the corner. Oh, you made it. That's pretty good. And to finish it off, I think probably not today because I don't think we'll have time. This thing here, this sprinkler, we should be able to, hopefully in theory, set up these sprinklers around on top of the crops. And I'm pretty sure you feed them liquid fertilizer, which there's lots of ways to do. That's interesting. There's heaps of ways to do it, but we basically have a way already set up. So that would be like this with white dye. That's our floral fertilizer. Yeah. So the mixer mixes that, and our crafting guys, our little crafty dudes, mix up this. Although we need to actually, there's no water required in our recipe because the water's already in the mixer. Are you going to work? You are going to work. Ooh. And that can get mixed down here in our kitchen, in our create mixer, down in our create area here. That'll give us our liquid fertilizer, and our liquid fertilizer would be fed to the sprinklers. All right, well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for. I'm a little bit disappointed that we couldn't make all those accelerators to fill out the farm, but at least we've got Inferium now with our new fancy-dancy mystical incubator. This is going in pretty quick, and I've thrown in a stack of advanced upgrades, so that it'll go a speed faster, I'm not sure. That's noticeable. That's really noticeable. 25. It's probably going to stop at around 30 or 40 times faster than the base speed. And then we can do little things like this to make it go even faster. Alright, next time we will test out these sprinklers on our crops, and we'll head into the kitchen and start working on a few recipes.
Guys, check it out. This is what we've reaped today. Put your bets on... It's like a stock exchange. Dates are up. Oh, this is how it starts.
Yeah,
How do I get in?
stole my advancement.
I'm guessing.
Oh, don't worry. You got him.
What do you mean?
You take him on.
Ow.
Swing it.
Sorry.
Just swing it at anyone that comes at you.
Someone coming at me? I don't understand. Oh!
Oh, you found the mother load.
Why am I?
I just thrown himself up on the flat.
Oh my god! Oh, wow, there's so many rooms.
You're gaming.
I'm gaming.
You're gaming.
How do I get up there? Whoa, I just had to hit them one time. Hey guys, thanks for watching.
See you in the next one.
See you in the next one, guys. I had a good time. I hope you also had a good time. And that we can hang out some more. And next time you see a spider,
What do you do? Squish it.
don't even be scared. Okay, well.
I'm not gonna
Goodbye.
eat it.
Goodbye. And good night. Adieu. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I forgot to record.